if you want to go from one place to another, so you must know the routing and the navigation part. It's kind of like, just simulate the Gmap, but for the applications, Google Map, but for the applications. You can just say, like, you are going to find a route, like you are going to define a route, and then you're going to navigate over there. So there's the basic layman term, you can say, and just to better understand these things. So the main thing, this one is a really important concept you should know whenever you are doing a uh, you know uh, whenever you are building any kind of application or a website. You should know that these concepts. So yeah, this is going to be slightly more on a code side. I'm not going to explain, I'm not going to show much of presentation, but mostly it is going to be a code. So first talk about route. Just a second. Yeah, disappeared. Yeah. So yeah, first talks about route. Let's talk about route. So routing is an kind of abstraction for a screen or a page. So whatever you are seeing in a UI, whatever you are seeing, because let's take an example of a list screen of the that WhatsApp. So it is a particular, it is one screen, but when you click on it and you are going to a detailed chat, so that one is a second screen or a page, you can say, of an app. And navigator is a widget that manages the route. So it will it will help you to manage all the routes. So in our case, widgets or a screen. So for the Flutter, as yeah, we have yesterday seen, everything is a widget. So for the Flutter, route is going to be a screens, sorry, a widget. But if you are coming from the Android background, you must be familiar with the activity or fragment. So route is activity or fragment for the Android, and for the iOS it is UI navigation controller. And navigation, yeah. So a navigator can push and pop routes to help a user move from screen to another, right? Like as I told you, if you take an example of the WhatsApp, if you are in a list of chat screen, that screen A, then if you click on one of the chat, so it will redirect you to the detailed chat of particular user. So that screen is the second screen. So if you want to go to the one screen to another, you have to push the screen on top of the list screen. Okay, so that is called a push. And then if you want to come back, so we are going to use a pop. If you are familiar with the stack, stack or queue, LIFO and FIFO, if you know, this is mainly going to be a LIFO. So last in, first out. So let's say screen A is first comes, then we are putting a screen B on top of it. So first screen B going to be removed first, then the screen A. So this is how it will work. If we did learn the data structure in a DS, about LIFO. So this is how it will work. So we are going to remove from, it is a stack. We are going to, from the stack, we are going to first remove the A, sorry, B, then A. So this is how it will work. As for the push as well, on top of A we are going to put B. So this is how it will work. And let's jump on to the code for the better understanding. I'll show you the code, and then we can just do a Q&A. Then my slides will be over. Nothing much, for this session. Nothing much of the presentation is required for this session. So yeah, let's jump on to the code here. I hope you all are seeing my screen. And yesterday is our mobile app that we have tried to implement, the list screen. We have a list screen, okay, that we have created. Okay, so we are going to so this is our first screen, you can say. Let me just rename it. I'm just going to use a shortcut. You can just you can change it like a one, like this. Okay, but you have to do a lot of work. I'm just going to use a shortcut to refactor everything over here. I'm going to name it a first screen because we need to, understand it better. So that's why. Just want to reload it. So yeah, we got the first screen changes available. Okay. It is okay if we put everything in a one file, but actually it's not okay. You can put everything in a one file. Yeah, but it is, better to have it in a separate files, in a separate classes. So you can, your code base looks clean. You can read everything properly, and if any other developers comes up, so they can read it properly. So it's really good to have, define everything in a separate classes. So I'm going to create one file. You can create a Dart file or a Flutter widget. If you are using a Android Studio or IntelliJ IDE, okay, so you can use one plugin. I'll just show you. Go to the plugins. Okay, we have a Flutter enhancement suite. So with that, you can just directly create a Flutter widget over here. So that you can do for the VS Code as well. There is a Flutter enhancement suite. You can surely use it, and you can just do stuff like this. So all the plugins are available, extensions are available for the VS Code as well. So I'm just going to click on Flutter widget. Sorry, Flutter widget. I'm going to give a name to it. Second screen. Okay, second screen. Then we are going to choose a stateless widget or stateful widget. Let's first go for the stateless widget. Okay, I'm just going to click on it, and if you see, I already got some template of it. Okay, we can also try remove clearing it up, and okay, and going to create one more again this second screen, but by code. So when you do it, you just if you are just writing it, you just have to write st over here. So it will gives you some hints. Okay, it's called what actually, even I have forgot what it called, but yeah, it will gives you a hint. Like you can create a st-less means stateless widget. St-full means a stateful widget. You can create the widgets. So this comes from the Flutter plugin itself. So if you are going to add a Flutter plugin in official Flutter plugin in a VS Code or in Android Studio or in a IntelliJ, so it will gives you this by default. Not intelligence, as it is more like what we call, it is more like live templates. Yeah, it is called the live templates. Okay, and then I'm going to write second screen. Is okay. So every time I got a message, my focus just changes to different thing. Then I'm going to import. See, I'm getting an error over here as well. About stateless widget key, then widget over here, because I have not imported one library called material. As I've told you earlier in yesterday, that we need a material package. So because Flutter uses by default the material package, and keep it in a package is a secondary, but Flutter by default uses a material package. And if you want to go for the custom one, you can just import the widget. So if you are seeing important import library package Flutter, Cupertino means like IO style widget you are going to get. Material means you're going to get material guidelines related widget, and widgets means like you're going to get some default widgets like tags and other things, but you can customize it as per your need. So you can create your own thing and your own design template. So as of the moment, I'm going to just import material one, and as I import it, everything fades away. Every error fades away. Okay, let's sorry. Okay, so we got a second screen widget, okay, over here, and we have one widget over here, first screen. Okay, now we already have one list style over here. Okay, this one. So everything in a list view is a list style. List style also comes up with a one more property or one more argument. It calls the on tap. Okay, on tap means when I tap on it, something should happen. Okay, so it accepts a method. So it accepts a function. So we are not going to define any return type over here like void then function like this. What we are going to write down is like just a braces, then a curly braces, open and close. So this is the method for us for the on tap. So it accepts function, sorry, a function, yeah. Then over here, so when I do it and click on hot reload, when I tap on it, you are seeing some ripple effect over here, right? So that means that something is happening. User actually tapped on it. If I remove this on tap, it will not happen. Okay. See, now nothing is happening. Okay. Now when I tap on it, I need to redirect user to the second screen. We already have a first screen, but we need to redirect user to the second screen. So what we have, in a slides, we have checked about routing and navigation. So we are going to use first the navigation. So it as it manages all the routes, we are going to write navigator, then off. Is there a way to hide this thing? Yes. Sorry for that. This thing is bugging me a lot, but unfortunately I can't hide it. Okay. So yeah, let's go to the code again. So we are going to use a navigator, which will help us to navigate us from one screen to another. So we are going to use navigator dot off. So what off means, like if you go to the definition, it actually takes to actually to which route it should go from. So it takes a context. What context means? So it takes this context. So I'm passing this context over here. So it sets up, it tells route navigator that we are going to route from this screen, first screen, to the second one. Now we are going to write push. If you are familiar with the basic before we are going to push push things. Uh, Now what we are going to push, a material page route here. Why material page route? So if you are if you are an Android user, so if you, whenever you see an navigation happening from one screen to another, we will be seeing some animation, slide animation from left to right or right to left. or from bottom to top or top to bottom. So mostly in Android, it is bottom to top for entry. Then for the exit, it is top to bottom. So that thing will happen using a material page route. So it will define some animation for the entry and exit and transition effects. And it takes a builder means we are going to again pass. It is kind of like a method again. I'll just show you, sorry, a function or method, you can call it either. So it return the return type over here is a widget. So we are going to pass some widget. Just keep in mind everything in Flutter is a widget. So we have given a screen. So we are going, if you want to pass a screen, we are going to pass the widget, the second screen for us. Then the method name over here, and then build context. Okay, so we are going to write down method or a kind of function. Then we are going to open a curly braces. We are going to pass context. So over here, context is not much necessary. So we can just pass, like write it down like as a underscore. So it will neglect it. But let's just write it down for the moment. Context. We will not use it. So but still, yeah. Then we are going to return, what we are going to return is second screen that we have created over here. Okay, so we are going to return a second screen, and let's just save it. And when I click on the any of the tile, the second screen should open up. Okay, so just click on it, and as you are seeing a black screen, it is because we just used the container. We haven't passed anything over here, not a color, nothing. So by default, it took a black color and default theming from the Flutter itself. To avoid that, we are going to use this scaffold. I forgot to show you what scaffold does yesterday, so I'll just show it now. So we are going to wrap this container, or we can just remove it. We can write down scaffold. Scaffold is more like a skeleton of your screen. So it gives you a an app bar by default from the Flutter itself, which follows the material guideline that we have talked about earlier. So yeah, and we are going to pass an app bar. So if you want to pass an app bar is more like a header that we see. So we are going to pass app bar over here, and when we save it, you will see a very different look, right? See, now we have on a second screen, we haven't passed any back arrow over here. See, I haven't coded anything over here, like the back arrow should appear or not, but it took taken by default. Why? Because Flutter manages the route of the navigator managing the route over here. This navigator is managing route for us. Okay, we are just pushing it. Okay, we are just pushing it. We are not deleting, or we are not removing first screen. So first screen in the stack is still there, and on top of that we have put a second screen. So we can still go back, like it will by default do a pop navigator dot pop. If I just do this. Okay, so let me just go to the screen again. So we got a second screen as well. Let me just write down a title. So app bar also contains a title. It will again take a widget. So you can put anything you want, but we're mostly going to use a text. You can put an icon. You can also put an list view if you want. Not do it. It's not a good practice to add a list view in this small section. But yeah, you can if you want. Okay. So we got the second screen title. Okay. So for the better understanding. Now As I told you, so using this piece of code, you can navigator dot off from where we want to go. So we want to push. So we are going to use a push method. Then we are going to pass a material page route, which will help you to do a slide animations. Let me just show you if possible. When I click on back button, you will see slide animation happening. It goes down. When I tap on this tile, it will go up a bit of upside. It will happen in a millisecond, so the transition will not feel you, but yeah. Then yeah, let's try to the, the do a navigator pop by popping the route by ourselves. So in a body, so scaffold also contains a body. So it also contains the app bar. It also contains a body. So app bar is more like a header. If you know about HTML, then body is like the lower body part. Like it's my head and then lower body parts. So yeah, like that. So we can pass anything over here. So what I'm going to use is a container widget. Let's not use a container widget, but let's go for the text button or any kind of button. I'm just going to use a text button as of now. There are various buttons available. I cannot explain each and every widget that as there are too many widgets available. So yeah, it is throwing some error. It requires a child, okay, and on press event. As it is a button, on press event is must, and a child. So child takes a child. So it accepts if you hover it over here, it accepts a widget. As everything is in a Flutter is a widget, we can again pass anything over here, icon, list view, or anything. But for the moment, we are going to pass text only. Then go back, Simon. Let's just not go there. And yeah, on press. As I told you, on press is the same thing as we did on tap over here. It's just naming convention they have used. So we are going to use on press over here, and yeah, then the same thing, opening brackets or this round one and the curly braces. Okay, and then we are going to again use the same thing, navigator dot off context. We have pushed a route over here. Now to go back, we are going to pop the route, right? So we are going to use navigator dot off from where I want to pop over here, right? So this screen I want to pop. So we are going to use this context. Then just simply go for the pop, right? And when I press save, I'll get a button. See, I got the button. It is not in a center. So what we can do, we can just grab this widget with the center widget. So it will come to the center. Now, if I click on it, we are seeing a small bulb over here, hint bulb. Okay, so we can press on it, wrap with a widget. It also shows you a default widget hints as well: center, column, container, padding, row, size box, and many more. So we can just click on a wrap with the center. We can press on command save or hot reload over here, and if you see, the go back button is in a center, right? And just we can just, sorry for that, you're not even doing fine. So we can just, press on hot reload and just go back. So we are able to go back. Okay. So it is working fine. Now Remove. Sorry for that. Now what we can do next is, let's take an example of actual flow as well. In an actual application, we got a splash screen, then a login screen, then when we log in, we move to the home screen. But the all the you won't be able to go back to the login screen if you don't do a logout. So we will check out that flow. So for that, I'm going to create a, one, two, three more files over here. So one is going to be a splash screen. I'm going to use a stateless widget again. And so every application has a splash screen. So I'm going to, use it as my entry point of, my application. So over here, our entry point over here is a first screen, right? Our home is a first screen. I'll replace it with the splash screen. I'll just do a hot reload. So if you are seeing a blank screen now, I'll just write in a body, in a center, I'll write a plus text to understand, yeah, this is a splash screen. We got the splash screen. Now we will have one more, we will try to add a column over here. We will add a column over here. Okay. We will add a text button to navigate to the login screen. When you're working with the real application, you will do it automatically, like by some by adding some timeout, by adding some timeout, like after 3 seconds of splash screen, it should automatically redirect to the another screen or a login screen or a home screen. You need to manage the sessions and all of the stuff that we can see it later on. As of now, I'm just going to use a button, and we are going to do it manually. I'm just going to pass a text over here as a child. Go, we can just say login, okay? And let's create a login widget as well, login screen. Okay, we got a login screen. I'm going to use a scaffold again, same thing. Okay, I use a body. We can just, okay, let's just, okay, we got login button. Okay, it everything goes up because column has a main axis alignment. We talked about it earlier. Okay, so default main axis alignment is a start. So we have to make it as a center. Main axis alignment, main axis alignment, and center. So if I hot reload, everything will fall again to the center. Right. If I click on the login, nothing happens, as we have to again do the same thing. Navigator dot off. Okay, we are going to use context of the splash screen as we want to move from splash screen to another screen. Then push, then material page route to get the material page routing effect, animation effect. Builder is a method or a function, we can say. It accepts, it has one argument called context. You can ignore it if as we are mostly not going to use it. Okay, it then the curly braces open and close. Okay, it is showing an error because of the return. I haven't written anything. Okay, then we are going to return our login screen over here. I'm just going to press on hot reload over here, or I just can press Command S. I'm going to press on login. So it will redirect user to the login screen. We don't have anything over there. Let's just add a app bar for clarity. We are going to app bar, add a app bar. We are going to add a title as a text, and we will name it as a login. Cool. Yeah. See, it also shows, it again shows the login and also a back arrow. But splash screen should not, again, the user should not be able to go to the splash screen again, okay, manually or automatically as well, as it should be, closed. It should be removed from the stack. So currently what we are using, only pushing it. We are not removing splash screen from the stack. So what we are going to do is we are going to use push and replacement over here. You see the push and replacement. What push and replacement will do?
Hello,
You
sir.
don't have to say, yeah,
Sorry to interrupt, Rakesh here.
yeah, Rakesh.
Sir, we have some questions in the chat box. So, would you
Yeah.
like to address those now or in the Q&A time?
We can do it in a Q&A. If any, uh,
Okay,
query
okay.
regarding this code, we can surely do right
Yes,
now.
sir. Yes, sir. Regarding these.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Yeah. One question is the override a decorator or not?
It is because you must be you all must be familiar with the inheritance concept, right? So if you know about Java or any object-oriented programming language, you must be aware of the inheritance. So we are, it's like giving some property from parent to child. Okay. So we have a stateless widget. We are extending it to the splash screen. So stateless widget is a parent one. We are extending its capability to the splash screen. Okay, our own widget. So stateless widget is a kind of a abstract class. We have made it abstract. So we are not, knowing much what is happening over there, but it comes up with, many of the, methods. And one of the method is a build. So when we extend a stateless widget or stateful widget, okay, we have to, override one of the must some of the method which are necessary to, run the application or run the widget. So if I remove it, okay, it will throw me an error that missing concurrent implementation of stateless widget dot build. So it is telling me that something I haven't, try implementing the missing method. I haven't implemented one method that is coming from the stateless widget. So if I can, override that thing over here. But if again, if I remove this override, it will not know that, it is coming from the stateless this widget. So we have to use a override. It is kind of a annotation. Okay, so yeah, this is
Yeah.
how.
Yeah. The next question is there a way to use one widget and then it automatically uses the material and Cupertino based on OS?
Yeah, so we are using a material page route over here, right? But if you are going to run this application in iOS, you will get that feel of iPhone alone, iPhone navigation alone. Let me just show you how. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to simulate that I'm on a mobile device. Sorry, an iPhone device. Just give me a few seconds.
And sir, you can address the questions very brief to save the time.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Uh, so yeah, so this material page route, is a default route for the material navigation, switching transition. But when you are going to run it in iOS, it will always going to gives you a feel of iOS navigation alone. So for the iOS, it goes for the from right hand side to left hand side, or left hand side to right hand side when we switch one screen to another. So that will be is preserved. It is handled from the Flutter itself alone. So you are going to get that exit routing animation for the iOS as well. So you can just use the material page route. If you want to create a custom one, you can do so. Okay, we can talk about it later on. You can experiment on it, but just this is the basic idea. So this
And
is the
sir,
yeah.
yeah, is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, now we have two how-to questions. One is how to use the overflow buttons in the app bar, and two is how to clear the history after login.
How to clear a history.
Yeah.
History in the sense how to clear all the widgets on top of. Suppose I have logged in and okay, we can take this these two questions. We can take this
Yes,
on
sir.
a queue.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. No problem. And
Okay. Yeah.
the last question is stateless versus stateful. But I think you have addressed this yesterday's session.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kumkum, you please watch the yesterday's session. It is there in the presentation slide.
Yeah.
So now, sir, you can continue.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks. Okay. So yeah. So earlier we used to just push the route. We were not removing it, right? So when I, do so, when I just push the route and I click on login, I was able to, come back to the splash screen, which should not happen. It should not come back to the splash screen, right? So I'm just going to use a push and replacement or to load it again. And what push replacement does, so it is going to push a route, which route, so login screen, but also going to replace the route, which one, the splash screen one. Okay, so it will push then replace it. So I'm just going to press on command as or hot reload and just try to log in. If you see, the back button is disappeared as there is no route. Previous screen is now not available. The screen, splash screen is removed. We only have a login screen now available. Okay, so that's why we are not able to see it, the back button. Okay. Now if I if we try to press back from the Android OS itself, we always have a back button for from the mobile device as well, from the OS itself. So if I press it, it will close the application and it will it will kill the application eventually. So if I do so, let me just demonstrate it. Okay, so you are going to see my home screen over here, my mobile device over here. Okay, we are going to open this again. I'm going to run the app again as it is killed. Okay, I have to run it again from entirely. So this is how the post replacement works. Hope you all are getting it. Now let's just for the time being, while my app is running, I'm going to add in a login screen. I'm going to add one more in a center. I just replace it. I'm going to add one more button, child uh, text button. We are not going to add text field or anything else. We just want to focus on a routing part. So we can just do that for the moment. I'm just going to use a login. Then on press button, as I have told you earlier, it is required. So we got the splash screen. When I click on a login, it will redirect me to the login page. And when I click on this login, we should redirect user to the home screen, right? Let's just name it go to home. Okay. Then we are going to use again navigator dot of push and replacement. Why push and replacement again? Because when we do a login, we should also clear that login flow as well. Or we also clear that login stack as well. Uh, because users should not be able to come back to the login screen and login again. It will break the application, or it will break the flow. So for the same, we can use the push replacement, or else we can use the another thing called push and remove until as well. Push and remove until means we are going to push one route, let's say home screen, and remove until means clear all the route till the splash screen or the first screen, whichever we have set in a home. Okay, so we can clear to all that route, or we can set some condition over there as well. We can talk about it later on, but we can set some condition over there as well. So I just want to uh, remove till this part. Let's say we are in a home screen, we are at the checkout page of some e-commerce application. Let's take an example of Amazon. We go from one's home screen to the checkout page. When we click on checkout, it should redirect to the home screen. So we are going to set some condition over that it should go to the home screen alone. Okay, so for that purpose, we will use a remove until. So it will remove all the stack, while the post replacement only going to replace splash screen. When so we are what we are currently doing, when we log in, when we go to the login screen from splash screen, we are doing a post replacement. It will only going to replace the this screen, splash screen, not the previous one. If we had any kind of screen available, it will not remove it. Then go to the login screen, and we can use a material page route again. Then yeah, seems like a Java. Yes, it is more like a Java, as it is a oops language. Then you can just use the context over here, a builder method, right? So we just currently we are going to use the push replacement alone. And material field route over here. I'll show you how the push and remove until will work. Over here we are going to pass on a home screen, or what was the name? My home page. Yeah. What was the name of that main? Sorry, first screen. We have changed it to the first screen. First screen. context, curly braces open and close. We are going to return first string. We are going to import. So go to home, and when we click on it, we will be redirected to the first screen. Now we can't, again go back to the, previous screen, as we have, removed the screen from the stack. We can just, press on hot this thing. We can run it again, the whole app again. We call it a hot restart, so it will not going to take, so much time, but it will still take, 2-3 seconds to run again our application. So you can see the entire flow again. Login and go. Come on, yeah, like this. Cool. Let's just run it again. And okay, someone just question, I don't know Java. You can still learn Dart, and it's yeah, C and C++, so it is, still, will be easier for you, as you know most of the concept. Mainly it is about class and how we can create a variable, and many other things. You will learn everything eventually. Sorry, you will learn, things eventually. You can't learn everything at the moment. So just, if you want to learn Dart, you can just, I'm just going to push the route. I'm not going to, remove it entirely. Okay, I'm doing a hot reload. See, we got the back button, so we can now go to the back. Okay, now we are going to the code of the login screen. We are at the login screen now again. I'm going to remove this push replacement again from over here as well. And when I click on go to home, I can go back to the home. Okay, there is, so we have to, create something like no way home. But yeah, but no way logging kind of stuff. Okay, now I can actually do, go back to the login screen and splash screen as well, as was just pushing that out. I was not removing it. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to, when I'm in a login screen over here, when I'm in a login screen, I'm just going to, when I press on this go to home, I'm going to clear this splash screen. Okay, and also this login screen as well. So when user clicks on back from home screen, it will close the application. So for that, we are going to use push and remove until. Okay, push and remove until. So let's just go to the definition over there. So it accepts one route and route prediction. A prediction route, like it is a kind of, you can say, Boolean check. So till which, thing you want to, uh, we should, pop all the route. So we are going to pop till splash screen. Oh, login screen, where is login screen code? Yeah. Okay. So we need to remove this splash screen as well. We need to remove this login screen as well. So we do have this. So it accepts one thing it accepts is a new route. So we are going to pass a route over here. Material page route is a route for us. Okay, then we are going to, we can just, simply check out what it actually accepts. So it is accepts, route predict, then a function, the return type is a boolean, so it will accept true or false. Then function route dynamic and route. So route is actually a screen, right? We have told, I've told you about it. what we can just write down over here. So we can just write down a bracket. Then this thing, we are not aware of actual route what it is. Then we can just set slash. Okay, why I did thing like this. So it accepts the route. Okay, route predict. What I did over here. So I actually made, I don't actually need a route. I want to clear all the stack I want to remove all the screen from previous screen from the stack till the splash screen. Let me just go to the main. So our entry pointer is a home screen, a splash screen, right? So by default, Flutter assigns one string value to it, which is slash, like this. Okay. So this backslash is assigned to it. Okay. And what this method will do, it will check for the everything, like until unless the slash comes up, it is managed by the navigator dot off push and remove until it is managed by that. So it will check for the slash the main entry route. Until that time it will remove everything from the stack. It will not remove the current route which we are going to push. In our case it is a first screen. So it will not remove the first screen, but before first screen it will remove everything. So we are just going to click on hot restart so we can check the entire flow. Hot restarted and login. We are going to press on go to home and see we don't have this back button over here, as everything, even the splash screen and login screen, is removed from the route or a stack, you can say. Okay, then if I click on back press, it will close the application. Now I have to run it again. Do we have still 15 minutes of time, Rakesh or Hari? And if the audience is not bored, as it is not, it does not contain any kind of memes.
Hello, Hari. Would you like to address this?
Uh, yes, sure, Bhavik. You can take your time.
Yeah, if we are not anything, set up, we can. I just want to show some things. Then we can just move to the Q&A.
Sure, Bhavik. Sure, Bhavik.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Good. Yeah, so we got our application running again. I just want to show one more thing about navigation and routing. Then we can just call it a day. We will go to the main application to the material app over here where we define our home splash screen. So by two-way, we can actually navigate. We used to define, navigator dot post, then we used to pass this material page route over here. Then we used to pass this second screen over here. But instead, we can also do something like this. Let's show you what. So navigator dot off, the same thing, but push named. So what it does, we are going to we are already going to define the name of this route. We are just going to pass on the particular name of it. Like we want to go to the detail screen. Okay, so we will name it as a detail where we are going to define this detail. So we in the homes in a my app over here in below the theme or wherever you want in wherever where we actually define our home, we got a routes. Okay, route is a map. Map is a key value pair if you know about it. So first is going to be a key and then a value. So key is going to be our this detailed text, detailed string. Okay, so we are going to just copy it. We are going to use a map. So curly braces open and close. Yeah, so detail is our key name. Then we are going to pass the second screen over here. Okay, so second screen goes over here, not semicolon. What I'm missing? Oh, sorry, I'm missing something. Yeah, it takes a widget builder. That same thing. We have to define a function over there. Okay, so we need to do this, a braces open and close. We need to pass a context, then curly braces, and we have to return it. Now, so what it does, so whenever we run our application now, so it will define the detailed route by default. So you can define every route over here. So we now just have to access, second screen by using it, this key only, this detail key only. So when we do so, we just have to, write down this post name and detail. We don't have to write down anything else. Okay, I'm just going to press Command S. I'm going to go for the login, go to home, and as we have used the detail, I hope I have restarted the application. See, everything works fine. I just restart the application once again. Yeah, the app is restarted. I'm just going to use login, go to home, and then see. It will work the same, but it is a kind of alternative. You can define all the routes by default. You can predefine all the routes like this. So it will remove the boilerplate code for you. Boilerplate in the sense repetitive code. Now we don't have to, write material page route every time. So that thing is also, kind of handled. So you just have to write down this. So yeah, this is how the this routing will work. So you can do it for the all the screens, for the login, for the splash screen, for the detail screen. If you are working for the e-commerce app, then checkout screen, all of the screen. So yeah, that's it for the navigation and routing. So these are the basic but important concept you should know when you're building a basic application. Yeah, so yeah, that's it from my side. We can call it a day, and yeah, so core part is done. We can just jump in to the Q&A portion. Yeah, that's it from my end.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for the great session. So, sir, one question we can see frequently is to set up the IDE and the environment. So, should we refer them to the online IDE, the flatlab.io? Otherwise, it may take time. Hello, sir, you are mute.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry for that. Yeah, yeah. Am I audible now and
Yes, sir.
visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Which ID should you are talking about?
The flatlab.io. So because the environment and all the things are already set up.
Uh-huh. Okay. This is new for me. Okay. So I mostly prefer to, go for the, actual ID, not
Okay,
to.
so Can you sir show the I mean a presentation that how can people go with that in VS Code or IntelliJ? They are not able to go with the Flutter. Can you show
Okay,
that?
you are not able to, offline ID setup. So you
Yeah.
have to be a one time, at least for the first time, you have to be a, online. You have to download everything that is required. Okay. So, oh, I'm extremely sorry. I don't have VS Code available. I do have VS Code available, but I don't have, everything set up. So, but what you can do, you can surely, follow. Let me share my screen again. Let me know if it is visible or not. Is it visible? My screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
See, I'm just going to the flutter.dev site. I'm just going to click on get started. See, we have, to all the options available over here, Mac OS, Windows, and everything. I just jump to the, Mac OS. They are firstly telling us to, download the Flutter SDK, which is necessary. Okay, so we are just going to, you should just download the Flutter SDK. Don't worry about the which ID you should, use. It can be secondary. So see, you just have to, set up all this path. As I've tap on a MacBook, it will tell me to, set up a path for the Mac Flutter SDK path to the bin. You must be familiar with the, if you are on a Windows, you must be familiar with the, setting up path in a environment variables. Used to, create add a path over there, add to the system level or to the, that level. Okay, then yeah, if you are building for the iOS as well, you need to have a Xcode, but it is the optional thing. You can say if you are if you are building for the iPhone as well, you will need it. Then you will need a MacBook as well, or you can just use a VMware. Then here comes the Android setup. If you are saying it, Android Studio setup, okay, you must be having a. What I can do, I can actually give you a video. I do know about it. VS Code setup. Yeah, we do have a documentation for that as well. See, installations and setup. So you can just follow this step. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not going to do anything new when I'm going to set up anything. So you can just follow these steps. You see, they do have a screenshots as well. And just read it out and just follow all the steps, and you will be able to run it application. You will be able to run the application. But still, for Visual Studio Code, I do have it. IntelliJ or VS Code. I prefer IntelliJ, but do which one is a better? Both are better. See, IntelliJ has more intelligent sense and more, key maps available, and more tools available for me at least to do an Android and Flutter development, not other development. To do an Android and Flutter development, so I can uh, it gives me a lot of hints, lot of tools which can help me to speed up my development time, to decrease my development time and increase my productivity. So I do use IntelliJ. But if you have a low system configuration, always go for the VS Code. It is lightweight, and it does have many tools available also, extensions, I mean. So you can just install it, and you can use it straight away. So see, I am on a VS Code right now. I already have a Flutter SDK downloaded. Now I have to you just have to from the extension, you have to search for the Flutter. When you do it, you will get a first thing as a Flutter. This one is official SDK, sorry, official plugin from the Flutter team itself, which will help you to get the necessary thing like hot reload and many other things in place for the VS Code. Okay, so it will allow you to effectively edit the code, running it, refactoring it. Like you don't have to refactor each and everything. You just have to refactor once and it will affect everywhere. So that stuff. So you just have to install it. I'll just reload it again. See, you might okay. So everything will be done by this thing. Then I don't have to do much over here. See, then Dart adding a Dart extension is optional. Flutter comes up with the Dart extension by default. So adding a Dart language is optional. If you are specifically running a Dart, language, Dart program only, not Flutter, but Dart program, you can install the Dart extension as well. Then you can actually check this awesome Flutter Snippets extension as well. So you just have to write stateless W, so it will gives you a stateless widget, stateful W, then build method init state. So you just have to write a keyword, small keyword, shortcut in the sense, and it will gives you the entire widget. I'm not used to with the VS Code, so I'm less familiar with it. But yeah, if you are used to with the VS Code, it will be easier for you. You just have to use the only this Flutter extension is important one. I all other things are not necessary. Got it?
Yes, sir. I think it's very clear.
Yeah, I'll be sharing that documentation link to all of you in a chat over here, so you can access it, and for the Mac as well. Done. And see, if you still feel that you don't, your system does not has a capability to run the application using ID, you can surely go for these Flut Lab like websites. But I'll always prefer these IDEs because it comes up with too many advantages, like too many packages, too many extension or plugins. Too many things are there for just to do these things. While website does has a limitations of it, you can't do much of stuff over there. Yeah. Anything else?
Yes, sir. Harshit asked a question that Android, Kotlin, Java, Flutter, iOS, and smart for and how you feel is compared to Android and iOS development.
So okay. So take it as a very separate thing. Don't compare it. The first thing you should do is you should not do is the comparison. Android native and iOS native, or that that is very different, very different. So you are going to build a native application as well. See, I myself goes for the native application as well if I have to deal with too many native stuff. Let's take an example of a camera application, right? Just pure camera application or video editing application, let's say. So I have to deal with the native things a lot. So I'll prefer a native application instead of Flutter or React Native. Okay, that you can build it with the Flutter and React Native and other third party, other cross-platform technologies. But I will always prefer to go for the native thing because I'll have direct connect to the native things like for the iOS and Android. You can surely build it for the using Flutter. but so it depends upon the use cases. Talking about market demand, so Flutter is in top demand right now. Uh, Hope it continues like that only. But everything is going to change. This change is the only constant, as we say. It is going to change, but currently Flutter is in a high demand. There are too many internship. There are too many jobs available. You just have to find it from the right places. There are many opportunities available, even in freelancing stuff as well. So yeah.
Harshit, have you some other question? You can unmute and ask. Okay, I think he do not have more question.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
some more questions are there.
Yeah.
That one question is on tap versus on pressed. What is the difference?
Yeah, okay. So this mainly does the the similar thing, but comes from the different classes. So when on tap comes from the gesture detector class. So it is a class for detecting gestures. It also does if you are pressing a long press, if you are doing a swiping, every kind of gestures. So it is coming from that class. But does the same thing. But talking about on press, it just goes for the on press event. Like it is kind of a method only. So when user clicks on it, it calls the one method called on press. It's just a simple function, type def function. So it will just gives me a callback that user pressed on it. So that's the only difference in technical terms. Yeah, but yeah, and it some does has on press events, and mostly you are going to handle the on tap. Mm. Anything else?
And Harshit asked for unmute himself, so he want to ask something. Harshit,
Yeah, please.
can you speak? Harshit, you can unmute yourself. No, you are not audible.
Okay. You can actually ping me separately for
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah,
for LinkedIn.
yeah. It is. Yeah, I think it is issue from his end.
Yeah.
We have one more question. Do we need Android SDK, iOS SDK, and Windows SDK? This is
Yeah.
question from Ishdeep.
Yeah, so you will need an Android SDK if you are running for Android. For the iOS, it will be mainly going to be it will be handled by the Xcode. So whenever you download the Xcode, it will download the other dependencies as well, and you also have to have some pods installed, Cocoa pods we say. So there are many things available, like many things you have to do, but let's not worry about it. You just have to get started with it. What documentation is currently telling you to do, like you have to download the for to run it in Android. You have to download a Android SDK, a basic SDK that will require to run it in a Android device. So it is must download it. If you even if you are doing a native development, if you are doing a React Native development, the Android SDK is must download it.
And so people are confused between Flutter and Dart.
uh,
Could you say this briefly?
yeah, so take Flutter is a framework or an SDK for building a UI, but it is built top on Dart. Okay, so Dart is a programming language that drives the Flutter. Okay, so as we talk about Android, Android is kind of a SDK or framework. Okay, but you can use Kotlin or Java as a programming language for the Android, right? So same goes for the Flutter and Dart. Flutter is a framework or SDK that contains some piece of code or piece of things that you can use directly, or you can use to build some customized UI. But Dart is a language using which you can write your logic like conditions and API calls and uh, classes and many more things.
Yeah, the next question is what is the difference between container and scaffold?
Okay, so let's talk about container first. So container, if you are familiar with the HTML, if then it is kind of like a div tag. Okay, it is as the name suggests, it is a container for something. You can provide a height width. You can provide decoration in the sense you can provide a border radius, color to it. Then you can also provide in the container as a background. You can also provide an image shadow of the that container. So let's talk about shipment container. A container is kind of a box in which you can put things. Okay, so it's similar things. You can define that box as you can also give the border radius and many stuff, and you can give a child to it. The child can be anything of any widget, list view, text view, sorry, a text or anything else. So container is that. So I'm talking about scaffold. So it is it is built on the material property. So if you are using a material configuration for your application. Okay, so it gives you a by default, things like app bar, floating action button, a body in which you can place other stuff. Then bottom navigation bar. If you see YouTube, we have a bottom navigation bar. So you just have to write down few line of code, bottom navigation bar, then use that widget, and you can directly put on that bottom navigation bar over there. So you just have to use pre-made stuff over there. So scaffold is kind of like a skeleton which is available, and you can just put some things over there directly, which that required, and you are good to go. And most of the things are optional. You can just it is built top on the material thing, so it will gives you the look and feel of the material UI library. I'll just share a link for the material UI library as well, how it looks like. It is from Google and it is widely used for the development. Are you aware of new Android OS UI, new UI for the Android 12? I think, yeah. So yeah, mainly that stuff. So it everything that we have seen in the new Android design, it comes from these guidelines.
Sir,
That's
someone is asking that can we use container and scaffold interchangeably?
interchangeable. Instead of scaffold, you can use container, right? Like that. Yeah, you can, but you have to provide your own theme. You have to provide your custom things to identify the like if you are it will not take the default things from the Flutter if you are not using a scaffold. You have to provide your own theming, color theming, your text theming by your own. So it will become a custom thing. So yeah, that you can do surely, but you will have to define some of the things which are from the coming from the scaffold. We have to define it by yourself. Mainly it is about theming.
Ritik is asking that do we need a MacBook to make an iOS app in Flutter?
Yeah, or you can use a VMware. So I'm talking about it, I'm talking it about in unofficially, but yeah, you can use a VMware and other hacks to build an application, iOS application. There are many hacks available as far as I know, but yeah, you can do so. But MacBook is a must for the building an iOS app. You won't be able to do many things without MacBook. But if you don't have MacBook right now, just don't go and buy it right away just to do development. Uh, because mainly company going to give you, if you are placed as a developer, mainly companies are going to give you that system. So don't worry about it much. Yeah. And as the
Kumkum,
Flutter runs on both an Android and iOS same, you can just showcase the Android one for the moment. Yeah.
yeah, Kumkum has a question. So
Yeah.
Kumkum, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Sir, could you please brief us more on stateful topic?
Stateful widget, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about first the stateless widget. So stateless widget is a dumb widget. Let me show you with the code alone. I'll be sharing my screen again just to better understand. Visible? Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. See, our splash screen is a, let me just hot reload it. Sorry, hot start our application. Our splash screen is a stateless widget. Okay. So stateless is widget is a dumb widget. It does not hold any kind of state of the particular widget. This widget. Okay. Let's try to, implement a counter application over here. So instead of this text button and login, we will use a increment. Okay. We will have one tag. Let's use a slash alone. First, we are going to define one variable, name it as counter, integer counter, set it as 0. Okay, let's set it as a 0. Then we will be using it in the text. Okay, and when I press on this, increment button, I'll remove this navigator code. I have to do a plus plus over here, counter plus plus. I have to increment this counter. Let's hot reload it. Okay. When I click over here, okay, nothing happens. The counter is actually incremented, okay, but nothing reflected over here because this stateless widget does not hold a state for this counter widget. Sorry, counter variable. For the UI for this build method, the counter is still 0. If I, forcefully hot reload the application, the counter will set to the that particular thing. Sorry, I have to put it over here. Sorry. I'll just restart my application once again. So as I told you, so the stateless widget does not hold any kind of state for this counter. So it is not going to update the build method and is not going to update this UI, our counter app over here. So it will not work properly. To tackle this down, we got a stateful widget. Now why we require a stateless widget first? So let's talk about labels in our application, right? So labels are not going to change. Suppose let's take an example of in a Amazon application, label of any of the product is not going to change by the user. So it is not required to have a stateful widget. Okay, it is not going to change by the user interactions. So it is okay if you are making it as a stateless widget. If the name is going to be the same every time. But if we talk about, increasing the value of our card from the quantity plus one minus plus one, two, three, four. So at that time, user interaction is required, and at that time we have to, use a stateful widget. I'm just implementing it, but nothing will happen if I hot reload it. Possibly, I don't know why it is not working, but sure, as the technically counter is actually incremented, but it is not reflected in the UI because the app status widget does not hold any kind of state. To tackle that down, we have to have a stateful widget. We can change this stateless widget to stateful widget. I'm just, going to click over here. It will give me a one bulb over here. I'll just click on it, convert to stateful widget. Okay. Now I have to, or restart my application once again. Now stateful widget, what it will does, it will first create a state over here. Are you seeing this method? Creating a state, but for this widget, okay, splash screen. And the same class goes over here. Uh, so it is kind of a private class. It's kind of not. It is a private class. Splash screen state. You can name it anything you want. By default, you should go for this format alone. Then if we are extending, if you are familiar with the inheritance concept, we are extending state. This is coming from the Flutter framework. Okay, and we are extending this splash screen as a we are giving it as a type, generic type. This splash screen, we are passing it over here, so it will get the state of this splash screen. So we have created a state, and we are getting the state over here in this class. Okay, now we have a counter app, counter variable over here, and counter over. We are using counter over here. Okay, now I hot reload it and try to do something over here. Now again I hot reload it. See, it was not reflected straight away, right? See, it was not reflected straight away because this build method and this counter this build method still does not know that something has changed. To tackle this down, we have a set state method. We are going to push this counter plus plus inside this method over here. So it will notify our widget and our build method that something has changed. In our case, counter has changed. Please update the UI. Like please update this portion. Like so it will rerun this build method and it will update our UI. So I'm just going to press hot reload. As we have a set state in place, we will be able to change the counter. See, right? Sorted. So stateless widget is a dumb widget and stateful is a wise one, which knows the state of the widget. Cool.
Yes, sir. Kamaljit, one participant, is asking you to mention all the plugins required for this app development.
Flutter plugin itself is required. Nothing much, but any other plugins are more of a extra thing. I'll share one document on it as well. Just give me a second. So I'm sharing a link which contains list of plugins or extension required to do this to improve the Flutter development. It is not necessary, but it will help you a lot. So first one is for the Android Studio or for the IntelliJ. Second one is for the Visual Studio Code, VS Code.
So why was splash screen state kept private?
Uh, as we are not going to use it, like anywhere else. We don't want to use it anywhere else. We just have to, we just need it for this file alone. We are not going to use it directly from any other classes. So we have to, make it private. We have to make it scope based. So that's why we made it as a private. And we are just going to use, so let me share my screen once again. Sorry for that. Hope it is visible. Okay. So we are going to use, whenever we are, routing, we are going to use this splash screen, not the state one, this one. We don't require anything from over here. It should be abstracted, it should be private and scope based. We should not, use anything from here over there, as it can break or it can do a memory leaks as well. Then we don't have to, use the counter from this splash screen state or over anywhere else. It is not required. Else we should only go for the global variables. We should not go for the global variables, but yeah. So that's the point. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, Harshit is eagerly waiting to unmute. He has some question. I'm
Yeah.
trying to unmute him.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I cannot see here him.
Okay. Please ping
Uh,
in that if he has any kind of question, he
yeah,
can ping.
okay. I got him.
Yeah. Okay.
Harshit, you can unmute. I have requested you to unmute.
Hey man, what's up? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Hi Bhavik, hi Rakesh. Thanks for the opportunity. I
Yeah.
had a question in today's session. We used push replacement method in order to remove the back button from the login screen. We don't want the user to go back to the login screen again once he
Yes.
is logged in.
Yeah.
So is there a method in which we can disable the by default a back button which is there in an Android application? And so there are three buttons in an Android mobile. The one
Yeah.
which shows all the apps, there is a home button and then there is a
Yeah.
back button. In
Yeah.
certain situations, we don't want the user to go back again
Back.
using the
Yes.
back button as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is there any method which we can
Yes.
use as well?
Yeah, so it's not a method, but it's again a widget. As we know that it is everything in a Flutter mostly is a widget. So we have a wheel pop scope widget. So wheel pop scope, as the name defined, it is check for the scope that the widget is poppable or not. So we can just use that widget. We can add a required argument will pop. Okay, we can just return a false thing over here. So it will not pop at all. It actually, goes for the future. Uh, I don't want to confuse you by using a future over here. So it accepts, so the return type over here is a in a will pop future boolean type. Okay, so we are just passing a future value pop and marking as a false. So it won't be, user won't be able to, push back. See, I'm pushing on back button, but nothing is happening, right?
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, so you can use a will pop scope. So in many application you must have seen when you post one time, many applications shows you a snack bar or bottom message. Press again to go close the application. So you can
Indeed,
do
indeed.
things like this from over here. Yeah.
I see.
Okay.
Also, Bhavik, one more thing. It's a very generic question. Let's say
Yeah.
somebody wants to start off with application development. What do you prefer? Like, should one learn Kotlin or should one learn Flutter first? Which one do you think is a better method?
Knowing the Kotlin is a surely a plus point because when you deal with any kind of cross-platform technologies, not just Flutter, but React Native, Cordova, or Xamarin, you at some point in future, not right now, not just right away, in some point in future, if any projects comes up, critical project comes up, you might have to, also learn. You might have to, go to the Kotlin side, native side as well. You always will have some packages available that will does the job for you, but if not, something goes sideways, if you have a knowledge of native languages like Kotlin or Java, you can build packages plugin by yourselves, and you can use it in a Flutter development in your cross-platform applications. So that's why knowing the native languages, native SDK is a plus point, not necessary at the moment. You can just jump on the Flutter right away and you can start creating an application. But knowing it is real good.
Okay, I see. I
Yeah.
understand.
And don't try to learn it everything in one go. You can learn it step by step, or learn it where when you actually need it.
So when we encounter any problem, we can go back to the documentation and then look for
Yeah.
a solution.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I see. And
Yeah, I think it will be easier for you when you actually, you already have an idea about Flutter and Dart. It will be easier to pick up a Kotlin or Java at that time.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I see. Also, as you mentioned that earlier in today's session that Flutter is something which is in demand right now
yeah,
for cross-platform applications. Uh,
yes,
and you also mentioned about the camera application where you said that in certain
native one.
situations
Yeah,
you would prefer using a
native.
Java-based application or a Kotlin-based
Yeah,
application as compared to Flutter. So
yeah,
you are someone who's working in the market for quite some time. So you
yes.
might be having a better idea as compared to someone who's just writing answers on Quora or something. That like, what do you think is not just for a fresher but for an experienced developer? Like, what are companies looking for mainly? They are they preferring a Flutter developer or an Android developer? Like, how is the
Flutter
market
developer.
scenario?
Flutter
That's
developer. The reason is Flutter developer are just not the app developer. See, I was an Android developer earlier, and then
Mhm,
become a Flutter developer. But there are Flutter developers, a lots of Flutter developers, which came from the Angular JS. They came from the React Native, React JS as well. They came from the web background, so they don't know anything about the mobile stuff. Okay. So yeah, so they are looking specifically for the Flutter developer. They always mention having a knowledge of native is a plus point, which is there. If I want to jump to the web at the web development, having a knowledge of something is plus point for me. I can surely do a web development right away, straight away, without doing much of stuff. But I will still lack some of the knowledge, some of the things. So yeah, having the knowledge is plus point, but they are specifically looking for the Flutter developer alone. Like talking about our application, we don't require much of the native things. Okay.
mhm,
Yeah, in our application, we are building a multiple dot XYZ application. It is a mutual fund, application. So you can invest in mutual funds. So we don't require in this application, we don't require native stuff a lot. We just have to call in APIs and to get data and to send data. So which can be done from the Flutter and Dart end. So yeah.
mhm,
So if you so this for this kind of project, they look for the only Flutter thing. But let's talk about camera app. Okay. So if the client or if the company wants to build a camera app using Flutter only, okay, then at that point you have to have that native knowledge, because we have to go to the native side and have to sometime code at the native side and then come back to the Flutter side as well. So at that time having a native knowledge is necessary at that time.
mhm.
Yeah, again, it depends upon the use cases of the client and the company.
Okay, all right. So, knowledge of combined Java and Kotlin for creating your own widgets or creating your own libraries, and React is something when you need for some specific use cases, and mostly Flutter. So
Yeah,
that's
mostly Flutter. Mostly Flutter.
mostly Flutter in today's industry.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, man.
yeah.
Thanks for your
Thanks.
time.
We have a few other people who have raised their hands. Uh,
Yeah. Kamaljit, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, sir.
Hey,
Hello, sir. Good morning. Uh,
morning.
Sir, I have a question. The question is, for basic app development, do we need both plugins, Flutter and Dart?
No,
Is it enough?
you can just add a Flutter plugin. Flutter plugin does comes up with the Dart language SDK, so it will start straight away.
So we don't need Dart plugins.
Yeah. You don't need Dart plugin. So I do myself, develop sometime, Dart plugins, sorry, Dart programs. So that's why I do have a Dart plugin available. It is not necessary, but if you want, you can just add it. It is completely fine if you don't add it.
Uh, and sir, you talked about Flutter widgets plugins.
Yeah.
Uh,
Flutter,
so
yeah.
do we need that plugins also?
To ease your development and to to speed up your development time, yes, you should download that plugin as well. So ease your development. See, if I create right now, I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'm clicking on lib, clicking on new, and I'm just going for a Flutter widget. I can just provide a name and I just click, so it will gives me a some piece of code already available.
Uh,
I don't have that plugin available. I have to create a Dart file. I have to name it. Then it will gives me a blank screen. Then I have to write everything by my own. Then I have to do some stuff. So which
mm,
saves a little bit of time. Let's say 2-3 seconds only. But it is in long term, it will help you a lot.
okay. So is this for advanced developer?
No. And any developer can use it. It is not for advanced developer. I myself is not advanced developer, I would say. Uh,
Uh,
yeah. So
so for basic, I just need only the Flutter plugins.
yeah, Flutter plugin is fine.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Now, Srinath, you can unmute yourself. Srinath, can you? Srinath, are you there? Can you unmute yourself?
Rakesh, let's move on. We have Ravi and
Yeah,
Manish, and
yeah,
then we can wrap up. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Ravi, I have sent you the unmute request. If people are not responding, Ravi, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, hello, sir. Can you hear
Here.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So my question was that that arrow key, it was there in the code, and how to use that, and what does that mean?
Okay. Looks like I have to share it again. Okay. Visible?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you have seen the arrow key.
Yeah, this one, yeah. Uh, just above it was there.
Line number, you can say a line number.
I think it got up. I think you can just scroll
Okay,
up.
okay, this one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. It's like a a block body only. It's a curly braces only. Uh, but when you have one liner, when you are returning, you are not doing. This is a method. Okay, first of all, and you are not doing many things over here. Like you are not writing many lines of code over here. Okay, you just have one line of code, so you can simply remove this parenthesis, curly braces parenthesis, and then you can also remove the uh, this return type, return keyword. You can press equal to, then greater than sign, and this will comes up. So why it is showing the arrow? Because I'm using a theme IDE theme over here. So we can set up a VS Code theme and IDE theme for our use cases. So because of that, it is showing me a arrow. Else it will, for you it will just show the this equal to sign and greater than. So it is known as a fat or arrow operator. So it will return this splash screen state directly. You don't have to write down curly braces, then have to return. You don't have to do this. You can do it over here as well. See over here. Okay, we will remove these. We will add a fat arrow operator, and we are good to go. Same goes over here as well. You can just add it over here. We will remove the semicolon. We will remove these curly braces, and see, we are good to go. Right? But if
Okay.
we can do it when we have one liner only, or one piece of code only. See, this is not a one liner, but it acts as a one line. It is a simple one method only. So yeah, that's right.
Okay. And sir, that contest bull, is it some keyword or uh,
Sorry, const.
yeah, that yeah,
This one
contest. No, line number 14.
14. Context. Okay,
Yeah.
so this one is a kind of important concept. So build context, it is a class, abstract class. So this is for a widget. In a Flutter, everything is a widget. So whatever you're building is rendered in a widget, in a widget tree, I mean. Okay, so first one is going to be a parent, then their child. Okay, so in a tree, build context provide a position of that widget. So at this position, our child, our splash screen, let's take an example of our splash screen. So using this context, you can identify the value
Position.
where the our splash screen is positioned or placed in our widget tree, the entire widget tree. So for
Okay.
this purpose, the build context is used. Also, using this context, you can get the size of the splash screen, height and width of the splash screen, or your widget, any widget. So whenever we have a context, you can get this kind of data,
Okay. So
right?
is it some keyword or is it
It's
we
a
are
class.
defining it?
It's a class. It is coming from the Flutter library. Sorry, framework.
It's
See this one.
predefined.
Yeah, it's a predefined. Yeah, it is necessary.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
when we override, this build method, it will comes up by default over here.
Okay, the whole build method, build
Yeah, yeah,
contest will come
yeah. It
automatically.
is a
Okay.
part of the build method. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, now Kamaljeet is asking that if you upload the code in GitHub, how can he get?
So yeah, so Git is a version controlling system, VCS. So we can just simply put your code over there. Let me show you mine. Let's go to the mine GitHub. So I do have a public repositories and private repository. You can surely follow me over here as well on like Twitter, and I'm not on Facebook, but I'm on more on a GitHub. So see, I have a repositories over here. I have uploaded over here. So Git is a very other topic we can surely discuss about it later on. So you can upload your thing. Let's assume it is a Google Drive. You can upload thing, but you can also manage the history very well. So these are my repositories. Okay. So you can check out my repositories over here. See, I do have Flutter best practices, some of the applications that I have uploaded. So you can check it out over here. You can download the code. You can view it, you can start it, you can fork it, and erase some PR and contribute to this application as well. So you can download the using a GitHub desktop or directly download this zip file. So you can do this stuff. Cool, perfect.
Okay, now last we have Manish. So Manish, you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yeah, hey Manish.
Hi, hi, sir.
Yeah, hi.
My question might be a bit weird, but actually, I am totally from an electrical background.
Uh-huh, okay.
Okay, so I've done my BTech, MTech both in electrical, and I am working in industry in renewables. I've just started with this BSc in programming and data science.
Okay,
So I'm not quite good in all these things. I'm not well versed.
okay.
But but one day, everybody has to start.
Yeah, definitely,
So
yes.
going through the orientation program and the course yesterday and today, I was not a bit sure how to take things further.
Okay,
Yeah, but as far as my organization is concerned, I see there are different departments for Android developer, iOS developer. There are things happening. So I am interested in these things too.
Flutter.
So yeah, how to get on this because it started off on a rough front for me.
Okay,
How do, yeah, थोड़ा सा I need some brief basics about that or some
okay.
links or something.
Okay. Yeah. So first thing first, I will tell you just you just have to get started, but you have to go slow and steady.
Right,
You cannot learn everything in one go. You cannot
right.
even myself. I don't know everything. Even
Okay,
after developing, I'm developing a Flutter application since 3 or 4 years now, maybe.
okay,
Okay, and I still don't know much or everything. So you
okay.
have to just get started with it, learn step by step. Divide everything in a portions. Don't get FOMO in your head or take over it. Uh, just divide your things in a parts. Learn step by step. And what you can do, you just to showcase to other person. You can just upload your things in a your GitHub or GitLab or any other platform, so you can showcase it to the your company, or you can also showcase it in your CV. So learn step by step. Go to the flutter.dev. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just click on get started. They have everything's over here ready. They
Right,
also have a book available and code labs available. You can either go for a cookbook. They have a it's a pre-built cookbook. You can learn about it everything over here, or you can just go for the this code labs. If I click on building a layout, how you can see, we see this UI in a yesterday's talk, right?
right. Yeah,
So you can try creating it. They have a step by step guide how you can create it.
got it.
It's a very simple guide, but in our term we always say that base is really important. If you know
Yeah,
basic,
definitely.
you can surely go ahead. So just learn these things. I'm sharing this thing in a chat as well.
Yeah, that will be great.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, that's how
Yeah.
I'll
So
start the
just get
basics.
started. Don't worry about you don't know everything. Don't worry about it. Just get started and start learning. Go step by step.
Okay, and one more question.
Mhm.
Uh, do I need some preliminary basics before starting this? Some other things, groundwork.
Yeah, do check out the Dart basic concept as well. How the if else condition works, for loops works, and basic how to define a variables and basic, really basic stuff. Not too much. How to define a class, how to create a objects. So
Okay,
then actually you can do you can so Dart lang also has a this thing same as Flutter. Sorry, I opened the
right.
Dart pad. Okay, so you can just follow the documentation. Go for the simple thing first. Do not go for the very broad topics. Just
Okay,
learn about how to define a variables, see if else conditions, or how to define a functions. Okay,
okay,
then just go for and you can learn it Dart by developing Flutter application itself. Okay,
right.
you you don't have to just learn it separately. So because
So it'll be like what all the things come in my path. I need to add something or some put some
yeah,
condition. It can be immediately taken care of.
yeah, exactly. Yes.
Got you.
Yeah.
Fine.
You can surely
And
watch MTech Viral as well.
uh-huh.
He's a really good, a popular one, and he's a really good, YouTuber and a GDE as well, fellow GDE as well, Pawan Kumar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
so you surely follow him. Um,
And one thing you were mentioning the last question, sorry.
yeah,
You were mentioning that the things will be better and smooth if we use MacBook.
yeah.
So
It
is
will
it so?
surely. But if you don't have a you don't have a MacBook, you should not buy it straight away. Learn it first in a your device, your if it is capable of at least running an Android application. It is
No,
totally.
actually, we are meant to buy new laptops for this degree for
Uh-huh.
BSc,
Okay.
an enriched one. So I'm going to just shortly buy one, a
Okay.
Ryzen R9 or the topmost series of Windows.
Okay.
So will things go fine, or do I prefer for a MacBook?
See, you must be having some other use cases as well, right? Surely you are not going to do any kind of gaming using a MacBook, so skip that portion.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you can run the Mac OS in your
In
Ryzen or
Windows, right?
laptops using a VMware, right? So
Yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
let's go for the MacBook as of now, that I will suggest because you have to do many other things. Like if you are studying other stuff as well, the Windows will help you a lot at that time because
So I'll use
MacBook
that
is also
emulator accordingly.
MacBook is also kind of it's not very very costly even and so yeah, that's why you can get you can set up an entire system in that price. So for the moment,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it will surely, crush any Windows machine. M1 system will surely crush any Windows machine. But yeah, wanna play games? No, totally no.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so we have to conclude now. We have
yeah,
reached the end, but it is just the first session of second day of this fabulous hackathon, yet to attain its climax. I would like to extend our warmest thanks to Mr. Bhavik for providing us with such an informative session and for being a part of this hackathon. So
yeah,
we have a series of events lined up for the upcoming days, which will be just as informative and practical as the one we had today. We will keep sessions interactive so that all your queries can be answered. Ashwin Gopinathan will be joining us at 2 p.m. today for another fun session. Stay tuned and join for the same. Till then, signing off. Happy learning.
yeah. Thank you so much, Rakesh. Thank you so much, everyone, for
Thank you, sir.
having.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Bhavik, for making time. I know it's almost 4 hours that you've given us, that too on a weekend, so we really appreciate it.
No,
Thank you
this
very
is
much.
pleasure is mine, and all the very best everyone for the hackathon. Uh, and do if you have any kind of query, I'm available on Twitter, LinkedIn, and if any kind of Discord server or anything you have, I can join that as well, and I'll be available by Monday at least. So I'll be answering your queries by messages if you have any kind of queries. So I'll be available for that person as well. So yeah, all the very best for the hackathon. Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bhavik.
Bye.